Welcome back to Cash and Sass, the podcast where we ditch the shame, talk real numbers, and build bold, bankable wealth without sacrificing who we are. I'm your host, Lisa Marie, fractional CFO, wealth mentor, and the sassy wealth queen behind Transcendent Wealth Company. Today's episode is for the woman who's tired of chasing business models that don't feel right and ready to build wealth her way. My guest, Carol Tice, built a low-ticket paid community that generated $6 million in lifetime revenue, replaced her husband's income, and eventually became a sellable asset that allowed them to redesign their entire life. We're talking reoccurring revenue, rejecting hustle culture, building businesses that don't own you, hello, and what real financial freedom looks like when you stop following the crowd. And I'm all for not following the crowd. So, as I say, let's get into it. Carol, welcome to our show. And I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, and I apologize if I did not. I always normally ask, and I totally forgot to ask.
It's just Tice the easy way.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You said that you rejected big ticket coaching when everyone else was chasing it. Now, I'm not putting down big ticket coaching because I'm a fractional CFO and I have one-on-one high-end clients, and it's considered a big ticket. So I'm no way, shape, or form, I'm going to have to say this for my listeners. I am not in any way, shape, or form putting that down. What I want you to realize is there's more than one way. Okay. And who knows, I might learn something that I can add to my high ticket, right? And someone else may say, oh, but I don't like this high ticket, and therefore I can't make money. And guess what? This episode is going to be for you, okay? So that's the whole point of this. So I just want to put that disclaimer in there before someone comes beating down on me. But you charge high ticket. I am not putting down high ticket, okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you that there's mid-ticket, high ticket, there's low ticket. I'm actually looking at ways to do a low ticket in there for the ones who may not be ready for my high ticket, okay? So that's where I'm going. But you rejected high tickets coaching. And I remember the time when everybody was chasing it. This is actually right when I started, and I didn't have high ticket coaching.
I feel like it's still around.
I think
still,
there's
you need
more.
a $10,000 offer. If you're a coach, you need to have that $10,000 offer. I feel like the drumbeat is still going a decade later. And, I'll say, yeah, I actually just went to a training where there was a $10,000 offer at the end of it. And if you have the kind of audience who will buy that and you want to work intensively with a few people each year, and that's your mode, go you. It wasn't for me for a lot of reasons. First off, my audience was broke freelance writers. One of the sort of golden rules of starting a business is don't sell to broke people. But they were my people and the people I knew and knew I could help. And a lot of them are really broke. So I kind of knew I would go to these things and be like, you need a $10,000 offer. And I'd just be like, that's not going to work with this audience. That is just not going to fly. And also just being a sort of a lower middle class kid, I don't know. It did not feel comfortable to me to ask people for that level of money. And the amount of offer you have to build into a $10,000 offer, I was also not psyched for. It's always got 83 different bonuses and I'm going to do all this one-on-one with you and on and on. And I kind of didn't want to build something like that either. And I had joined a paid community that was, I think, $10 a month for blogging because I was building my audience through blogging back in 2010. And I loved it. And I immediately thought there needs to be something like this for freelance writers, and there isn't. And what I was in love with was the power of low ticket to drive mass adoption. And I'm 100% confident that I made more money charging $25 a month, no obligation, leave anytime, than I ever would have made trying to sell high ticket coaching to this audience. So it's like, who are you people and what are you trying to accomplish in life? What is your why? And I kind of got into the business of helping writers because I wanted not just to help some writers I met, but to change the industry, really to bring a lot of awareness about scams that were targeting writers to bring awareness of what professional rates were and what you should charge and how to get a raise and to really elevate the whole industry. So you can't do that coaching 15 people this year. You are not going to have any industry-wide impact. Doing paid community, I reached 14,000 people over the life of this. So that was more what I had in mind, was getting the word out to lots and lots of folks.
Well, and yeah, and I mean, I've got a mentor who normally has high ticket, and she's even said that she went back to low ticket because we're in a trust recession. And because we're in a trust recession, people are not going to so easily go into the high ticket. And she's right. I've noticed it. I mean, all of us have noticed it. And she started doing a community. Okay, how can I help? How can and she's done a low ticket. And she has 7 different businesses. This was her 7th business stream. And y'all, she's bringing that one to 6 figures off of $59 a month. So again, it's
Exactly.
how can I help the masses? 1, not be stuck. 2, be able to grow and do the things, avoid the scams, and use the things that work, right? And be able to make an impact massively and still make money. And so having a membership or having a low ticket offer can so totally help. I mean, it's one of the things that I'm even looking at, right? Of how can I do that? What would that look like? I think it's just something that we don't need to squash. But let me ask you this. You explained what felt off about the conventional business advice early on, because I also didn't like it. It was like, oh, if you don't charge $10,000 for 3 months. And I'm like, yeah, and now you see people doing even more than that. But then you're supposed to have a cookie cutter for those $10,000. And I point blank tell people, okay, my high end is not a cookie cutter. It's one-on-one. It's based off of where you're at, and we start where you're at. And there is none of my one-on-one clients that are exactly the same. We have some similarities of what we do, but it's still individual. And that is the way I've always been. I don't pertain to, oh, it needs to be all the same and cookie cutter and you just chart. What? No. But how did you realize the low ticket community for you could outperform high ticket offers? And you kind of went into that, but as you were going, what kind of
I
how
didn't
did you
know that it
realize it?
would. I didn't
Huh?
I didn't know that it would. And when I started, I thought if I got 500 members, that would like fulfill all my financial dreams because I didn't know what the back end cost was going to be back then when there weren't platforms like School like I'm on now.
Right.
And you had to have this whole IT team in the background making plugins talk to each other. I had no idea, how big it could go, what would happen with it. I just felt pulled in this direction from I think I always thought of this like umbilical cord coming out of me of like, go this way. Like I just felt like seriously a calling, not
A calling.
to be religious,
It was what you were supposed
but
to do.
it just felt like what I should be doing with my time. I literally was tucking in my then a couple of toddlers and older kid at 7:45 at night, running upstairs and working on this business from 8 until midnight, like 6 nights a week. And I didn't see a TV show, I didn't see a play, I didn't hold dinner parties, I didn't know what was going on in popular culture, for about 18 months at least, just building it, doing the blog, and then learning about how to monetize it, finding a paid community, and going, this is the model I like, and I could apply it to my industry, and I had no idea how big it could get. It completely exceeded, what if
love
you had
that.
told me I was gonna make, 600 grand in a year gross, like, I would never have believed it. I was a reporter. I was like a journalist earning
love that.
1/10 of that, as a well-paid reporter, and I really had no, vision of how much need there was going to be for it and
Right.
how much driving it down to that level would make it blow up. But
Right.
I can take that one step further because in my new community where I teach people how to do this model, I just opened up a free level and I was a hater of free. I have been a hater of free all my life. Every mentor I ever had, don't do free. They don't open their wallet. They are not buyers. It is bad. You just get tire kickers. And I could only watch big communities on school earn 2 million a year off their free communities for so long before I went, something has changed. And it's back to that trust crisis that you were talking
It's
about.
a trust. It's where we are in, y'all. We are in a trust recession. Period. And let me tell you, it has affected. I know it's affected my business. It has affected, and you know me. I tell you like it is. I don't sugarcoat anything. Yes, I'm a fractional CFO. Yes, I'm a wealth mentor. And the trust recession has affected everybody's business one way or the other. I don't
Academy?
see it changing just yet. We've got to tweak to be able to build their trust.
When I launched Community Growth Academy, we did $6,000 of Facebook ads with a team that had sold 15 million of courses. We followed the exact template they've always used, and maybe I got one person out of it because those people didn't know me. They came in on an ad. They got my case study all about how I built my first community, Freelance Writers Den, and they did not buy. They knew I knew a lot about this topic. They knew that I could guide them to launch a community that would make money, but there was still a gap that they didn't jump
How
over.
do I know? How do I know I can trust you?
Yeah, and when you open up a free community and people can just start hanging out and seeing the conversations and seeing the help you're giving people, they can get to know you for however long they need. It's, people have said, why free level and not just 7-day free trial? Why is that not enough? But I did the 7-day free trial, wasn't enough. This is fantastic. And the quality of people I've gotten in as my free members has amazed me, because you think it's going to be a lot of whatever randos. It's serious coaches, people with programs they want to wrap community around. People exploring paid community, very serious people.
Right. There is serious people who are like, okay, we're in a trust recession. I need to be able to tweak. What does that look like? I'm not sure what that looks like. Okay, well, we are in a trust recession, but I don't know if I can trust her. I don't know if I can trust him. Oh, she's got a free community and I can go in there and I can learn some stuff and see and learn to like and trust her, right? And that's the other thing of why
Exactly.
I'm so big on referrals. And I'm not talking about referrals from your other clients. I'm talking about referral partners, right? That's the reason why
Sure.
I'm building a referral partner list. And it's so, like, for example, Carol's gonna be I'm gonna ask her, have be her on there, because here's the thing: the more she and I get to know each other, and the more I trust her, if I have someone that trusts me, they're going to ask me who would I recommend for something. They're 9 out of 10 times going to go and try her community and may not be on the free one for as long, because someone they already know and trust knows her and trusts her and recommended her. Whereas if they found her just through the podcast or through something and I didn't say I highly recommend her, then they would go, they might still join the free, but they might be there longer. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely
So
true.
it's you have to realize that trust recession has affected all businesses online. It's affected all the businesses. And at first I thought, oh, it's just affecting my business, or it's just affecting. No, it's affecting everybody. I've seen it. I've heard it. And being able to do different things and be able, and y'all, I want to make an impact. I want to make an impact on more than just 5 people. I want to make a massive impact. So being able to have a low ticket or see the low ticket, those things are going to come into play. And so that's what I want to ask you. What do a lot of people, especially business owners, entrepreneurs, misunderstand about low ticket offers or low ticket models? Because I think there's some misunderstanding on them.
Well, I think they think they're going to be broke because they're not charging enough. That's the thing, is like, and there's a feeling of like, why should I give away so much expertise for $25 for a whole month of all you can eat everything? And you really have to kind of go through a mental shift in how you think about your expertise and what you're doing to hand it out for cheap to each person. If you don't love that model, if you don't love that idea of offering basically insane value is what you're offering. It's like, yeah, if you did this one-on-one with that would be a 10 grand offer, and I'm giving it to you for $25 for a whole month stay on if you want, leave if you want, I don't care. Um, it feels so generous and it feels so giving and welcoming and everything. And, I think it has to be your flavor that it, you have to trust that enough people will be attracted to your offer that this is going to pencil out better than the $10,000 offer was going to. And the way you do that is by surveying your people and building the community they tell you they need, so that the launch is just that thing we've been talking about that you said you needed, and I built it, and now you can join it. So it's sort of already their community before they get in the door. They're already invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
You've been being like, what do you think of these brand colors, this logo? Here's my free useful, PDF thing. What do you think of that? What do you think of these cover ideas for it? Take this member survey and tell me what you would most need in a community. How often do you want us to have live events? Do you want text-based lessons, videos? What is it you want me to build for you? What are your top pain point topics that I should have guests come on about? And you just design it with them so that it's kind of engineered for success.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you sitting in a corner guessing about, oh, I'm going to open a community about this. There's way too much of that going around, but that's what I teach in Community Growth Academy. The community I have
I love
now
that.
is
I love that.
go
And
step by step with your audience, build in public, involve them, and then that you will make the thing that there is demand for. When
right,
you sit in your corner saying, "Ooh, I know about this. I'll make a course and I'll open a community around it." It might work or it might not because you haven't been talking to anybody. So
right,
you have no
right,
market research. And
right.
I try
Well,
and
market research is really important. Yeah.
yes, it's important. And everybody wants to skip it because their idea is in a magical, precious bubble and they love it and they don't want
And
it to meet the light of day and pop and die. It's true. And I get
right.
that. But the thing is, the pivots that you will get from going out and talking to your people will save your business, will make your business happen, will give you the money, the income that you're looking for. That is how you get it. It's everyone says to me, Carol, should I charge this or that? And I'm like, no, I am not the person to ask. You have to poll your community and ask them, if I provided this list of benefits, what would you find an appropriate, membership fee for
Yeah,
that?
you can give them like
I don't have
free
a crystal
because
ball.
right. Well, and one of the things I love about one of my mentors, she started off at a low price and they did it slowly. It's like $59 a month. Then they went after they built that, then they went and did one slightly higher. Okay. They call it like a VIP, or they don't call it VIP, they call it gold tier. And that
Right on.
was now, I don't know, 159 a month or whatever.
Oh
It's
yeah.
still a little higher, but a little more. And you'd be surprised how many people jumped to
I wouldn't.
that. I
I
didn't.
wouldn't.
I didn't. But you'd still be surprised because there was a lot of people who already built trust and they're going, oh, with this, I'll also get some one on one time to help with my marketing and my business. Okay, I can pay that. Oh, you'll let me pay yearly at $99 a month and lock me in? Okay, I want the gold. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, it was
Yeah,
just
what
$40
you're saying
more.
is what you're saying is lower ticket has gotten a little higher over the
Well,
years. And that's
no,
true.
what it is, she still has the low ticket. She still has her low ticket because I'm in it.
Hmm.
So she still has that, and we still get boon of stuff. I mean, and
Sure.
no doubt, and we get weekly group call. I mean, the amount of stuff we get has blown me away for $59 a month. Awesome to goodness, I haven't even used everything at that price point. Okay,
Exactly. But
and
what I'm saying is like when I joined a community, it was 10 and then I ran that was 25. The minute I sold it, they raised it to 40. I started my new community at 47 and now it's at 97 there's the free level and then the premium. And yeah, the thing that's magical about community is every meeting you have, every training you post, you're building more and more value into the community. So
Mhm.
then you hit a point where it's worth more. Also, the number of people in the community. I have one student who launched early on, got to 500 members pretty quickly, raised his price because the interactions also are providing more value in the community. And yeah, now
And I
he's
have a
at like
friend,
600.
she's in school too, and so she has the free offer, and then she has 2 tiers. And
Yeah.
she has 1 tier and then this tier, and she added the second tier when she got to a certain number of members, and so there was a pricing point to where, oh, okay, it makes sense that, and now she's growing it even more, and again, it's able to sell. Now, you can, and I still want to say that you can still have your high ticket, because
I was just
now
about to say
you've
that.
got your community who 9 out of 10 times, maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, that's been paying this $25, $35, $97 a month, is going to then say, wait, you've got this mid ticket, or you've got this retreat day. Okay, I want that retreat weekend. I want that in that one-on-one intensive day. Where do I sign up? And they're still keeping that monthly, and
Yes,
now
actually,
they're doing that.
exactly. You've got that free audience or that $59 audience. And yeah, this isn't an either or. You've got to give up that
No, it's
$10,000
building
offer.
it's
This
building the
this is how
trust.
this is how you find the people to sell that offer to
Right,
without having to do 80 tons of marketing.
right, right. And I love that. And I think that we have to realize that we don't have to do it the way it's always been done. That this way, the building this trust, doing it this way is a good way to do it. Now, you don't have to do it on school. There's Kajabi, there's all kinds of platforms. It's got to be the one that you're most comfortable with. Okay. It has to be.
Do a tear down on the top platforms and compare them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be. And I have several that are on school. I have one that's on two is on Kajabi. Two is on Kajabi. I know a couple of people that are on
Oh, so
another
you
one.
get around the community world.
Listen. As long as I can easily get onto it when I want to on my phone, that's my big thing. Is like, is there an app for this, or do I have to log on to it only on my computer? If that, as much as I don't like being on my phone all the time, I have 2 kids. I'm traveling. If I can't get to the community easily, I will say I'm not gung ho about Circle as much as some of the other ones. Again, that's my opinion. I'm not putting anyone down. I was part of a community. That's just one that I'm not gung ho about as far as how it works and being able to navigate it. But there's so many of them. And again, you just need to choose the one that works for you. Right.
Well, and that is the other thing that's crazy, is that the barrier to entry to do a community when I started a decade ago, 15 years ago,
you didn't have
was
five,
high.
you didn't have 10 choices or 25
wasn't-
choices.
And it was costly. It wasn't
Right.
like running a blog where you could kind of do it yourself. You needed a technical team. And now I pay $97 a month to school and everything works. And they introduce new
Right.
features all the time. The
Right.
barrier is so low. It's like if you
Right.
have an idea, learn the steps to launching this the right way and give it a whirl, and see if it's a place to put your courses, which you could upsell to people, your coaching, you could upsell people, your retreat you want to hold. I just think anyone who's doing online business now, if you're not wrapping a community around what you're doing, like you said, you're hitting your head against the trust crisis so hard. I went to a 2-hour pitch meeting the other day for one of these 10K offers, and I just felt sorry for this guy because it's just so much work selling that way and having to kind of grind people down into your offer. And the thing is, I didn't come out of marketing. I came out of journalism. A lot of people who operate in the digital business space have a digital marketing background. That's what they did before they started this business. And that wasn't me. And I didn't want to sit around doing 2-hour webinars all week. That wasn't for me. I wanted to spend time helping my people make more money.
Right.
Doing my coaching.
Right. And then see, that's what I'm all about, is making the impact. I love that. You've said that many entrepreneurs are just building jobs. And I want to know if you can explain that, because I think that people need to realize that when you're building your business, you need to make sure that the business is working for you, not you working for another job. And it's one of the things that I've stressed over countless times. Yes, there are going to be times you're going to work more than you ever worked before. Listen, being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is not for the faint of heart. So I am not saying, oh, you're only going to have to work 10 hours a week. I do not jive into all that fakeness.
Well, especially when you're launching it.
I just don't believe that you're going to start your business and you're only going to ever have to work 10 hours a week. I don't believe that once you launch it, you're going to always only have to work 10 hours a week. I believe on average, maybe 15 hours a week or 10 hours, maybe some for 10 hours a week. However, there are going to be times to where it'll be more. Sometimes it's going to be a lot less. I can tell you there during the summer, I work maybe 15 hours into 2.5 days, and I'm outside the rest of the time. I have that set for me. During the winter, if you include my podcast recordings, probably work about, we'll say 20, 25. And for me, 25 is full time. That's so funny because when I worked corporate, full time was 40 technically, but I never worked less than 45, 50 hours. Okay. I was always dog tired. Now, if I work more than 25, 30 hours, I'm like, I don't want to talk to somebody else. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to talk to my kids. I want nothing to do with nobody. Okay.
Yeah, you've re-envisioned how much full-time work
Right.
really should take in your life. Well, so let me blow your mind with this because community is the model where you can dial it down to 0 hours if you feel like it. The thing is, community is a model where you can work in this business as much or little as you feel like. I have that guy who launched and he's got 500 members. He's 80. He travels all the time. And when he is on the road, he doesn't go in the community at all. And he outsources every job. He is not involved. So he can just take a month off, do nothing. He can come back in if he feels like getting in the forums talking because he loves to talk about investing money because that's his topic. Maybe he'll spend some time. But this also gets into that whole making it a saleable asset. And this is what sucked me back into the world of community and wanting to found Community Growth Academy is I just kept meeting so many coaches and I'd go to their website and the name of their business would be theirname.com. And my heart would just kind of die a little inside because that is you bought yourself a job. Because
I have never made my business my name.
I've never done it either. Except when I was a freelance writer, when the business was me.
I take that back. When I first started, it was Lisa Marie Accounting. It was because it was accounting. But I wouldn't put my last name in there. And then we rebranded and we changed it. And then we changed it one last time and to Transcendent Wealth because I was like, this is more than about me. I wanted to make an impact. And that's where Transcendent Wealth was born.
So, yeah, the thing is when yourname.com coaching is your business, yeah, you don't get paid the week you're on vacation. If you don't work, you're not getting paid. You are it. And when you want to retire, you close the doors, get no exit, have no nest egg to build that retirement around. And, you just have to work till you drop, basically. And the state of people's planning for what their retirement is going to be like in this country is appalling. Just people are like, oh, I don't know, I'll figure it out sometime, just no one has a plan. No one has a pension. The average Social Security payout is like $1,700 a month. Who can live on that? And people are not thinking about how they are going to live a nice lifestyle in retirement, how they're going to go on those European I just was in Europe for a month. How are you going to, and we all live so long now, and I come from a long-lived family too. What's your exit strategy here? How are you getting out of this? And the first thing any business buyer is going to ask you is how many hours a week do you spend on this business? And they want the answer to be like 3 hours, because that's how much work they're going to be doing. And if you can dial it down to no, you can have guest experts come do things. I had volunteer moderators moderating forums. I didn't do it. You should be able to sub yourself out in every single role in community, and you're basically making a product out of all of your knowledge. You're putting up courses, you're doing live events. That is all becoming product that's a saleable asset. I actually put my upsell, my mid-career coaching thing that was $1,500 into a box, and it became a product that was part of the sale of that business. So I know people who love one-on-one and that's what they want to do. And that's great if that's you. But if you find yourself saying the same things over in all those one-on-ones and it's kind of driving you crazy, it's time to think about community where you could do some basic courses that would run and then they get into your coaching and you can start kind of down the road from it, from the 101 level stuff. And you can get more, you can reach more people. It's a big mindset shift from like, I have a coaching business, yay, go me. Or I have a little online business, I have a blog-based business. And this is a business that's a real business someone else could take over and operate, and you could head out.
Well, I mean, and even if you never want to do that, the point, I think, is I know I want to make a big impact. I know that I want to change in my lifetime how many millions of lives I want to change as far as how they look at and think about money. I am one of the people who love my one-on-ones. Okay. And I know there's many of us out there. And I'm also not willing to work 55, 60, 65, 70 hours a week anymore. I did that. I'm not doing it anymore. And so I think it's important to realize you can have that. And okay, how can you, because this is something I've been asking myself for a year now. Okay, I want my one-on-ones. However, I don't want to take on 20 one-on-ones in order to make more money and make a bigger impact, because I won't have time to do nothing. And I like my summers and I like my time, and hello, I'm not going back to corporate. That to me that's just too close to it. So being able to have a community is a way to be able to do that, which I absolutely love, because again, it's giving us a thing and saying, okay, maybe there is a way we can do this. Maybe there is something that can be done to where we can start reaching the masses. More revenue is going to come in and making a bigger impact because I'm reaching more people. Now, you are a woman after my own heart, okay? And you're going to find out why in just a minute, because I know you don't know this yet. You started your business at 45. I started the first one, okay, at 45. I started my business at 43. So we're considered quote unquote late bloomers in starting our businesses. But I was in corporate for 20 something years.
There's hard data around this that the vast majority of people have their big ideas. It's in their 20s and 30s. And I'm glad I didn't know that when I didn't have it.
My business was going to be a boutique store. Okay. I was going to have my own boutique store. I'm determined before I die, I will have my own boutique store. Okay. I was going to have my own boutique store and I was going to run it. And I knew what it was going to look like. And I still have this vision in my head. How I started my business was I was let go from my corporate job in 2016. I was tired of the migraines. I was tired of the headaches. I was tired of the tension headaches. And I kept hearing a voice that was now or never, and you're needed to. That was in 2016. I was 43 years old. I literally had my vehicle repossessed, was already barely making ends meet to begin with. Had to cash in what little bit of 401k I had so I could provide for my kids. So when I say I started with nothing, I started it with nothing. And I've not looked back. Okay. I've entered into my 10th year, and I think it's really pretty amazing. But my question is, what would you say to women who think it's too late?
Well, I just started Community Growth Academy at 65. So
there you go.
I can't help you.
It's too late. It's saying it's too late. If I thought it was too late, I'd be screwed, y'all. Come on. I am now 52 just entered into my 10th year. It's never too late. And I'm looking at, okay, still wanting the boutique business. Hello, that's the second business. Okay. And I'm looking at how can I do a community? That's going to be another stream of income. And Lord and behold, I am on TikTok and I'm doing lives, which is, by the way, another stream of income. Okay. So it's never too late. And please explain to them. I mean, again, you're 65 and you're starting what? Is this your third or fourth?
No, this is my second. Well,
business.
If you count freelance writing, then this would be my third.
I see.
I think the thing to know if you are older is that there's a large population in America that is older and underserved and ignored in mainstream, business. Where nobody look at the movies that are out. Where is the movie for someone who's over 50? It's so rare. We're just considered not valuable customers by so many people, even though we have all the money. So It's crazy, and there's so much opportunity in this sort of golden year demographic. And I know lots of people who are starting things, aimed at postmenopausal women. And there's so many segments of older Americans not being well served. There's so much opportunity in the community format for that and in coaching and all
And
around.
just my last question, because I think this is really important, because it's something that sometimes I'll even find myself, going, okay. But it's, how do you give yourself permission to evolve your goals? Because they're going to evolve, they're going to grow, they're going to change. So, how I want my listeners to understand that it's okay to make shifts and tweaks. Again, we're in a trust recession. So, please make some tweaks, and so that you can continue to grow. And how do you give yourself permission to evolve your goals? What are some of the things that you look at, right? Money wise or whatever it is, to say, okay, this is my next goal, to go for it.
I don't know that I ever thought about, like, I don't feel like I can change I I have the good luck to have been a business reporter covering a lot of startups for about a decade before I got laid off and started my freelance writing life with a $10,000 severance check. And I look at what's going on in the marketplace. I mean, like we talked about with the free level, I was like, oh, I'm never doing that. And then I looked at what was going on in the marketplace, and people were making a lot of money off free community and upselling them. And I went, maybe I need to reconsider this. When I started this, I thought, oh, I'll scale it really big like I did with Freelance Writers Den. And now I'm thinking I'm going to run it as a limit 100 community and just keep raising the price of it and kicking out unengaged people and getting more hot to do it people, because I'm sort of kind of flunking retirement, but I'm semi sort of retired. And you may notice out the window, we're here in Arizona. We're full time in our RV. We're trying to enjoy life, and I don't necessarily need to earn 600 grand a year anymore. I've had that exit and put away that money, and I'm thinking it's 150K model, and the overhead is so low on it that maybe I could just work intensively with 100 people. And that's sounding better to me. I did a year of beta testing this, and that I think the problem, it's not permission, it's that we get stuck with the idea we have in our head, and we don't want to take in new information. It's that confirmation bias where you want to look at things that confirm your theory of how it should be instead of looking at what is really going on out there. And when you do that, your model might start to evolve when you keep an open mind. And like, I'm an old bag here. And I got on School. I hadn't been on one of these big platforms, and it gives you a chance to look around at a lot of other communities. What are they doing? How are they getting engagement? How are they upselling people? What is their model? And it changed my mind about how I wanted to do it. But you have to have an open mind so you can change it is really the thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very much open mind. Carol, this conversation has been such a breath of fresh air, especially for women who are wanting income and freedom, and and they're saying, okay, I'm having this issue with trust recession, and and how can I make the money and build freedom and wealth and be able to do the things and maybe not work as hard. So where can listeners learn more about your work and grab your free case study, as well as please share the school link? Y'all, it will be in the notes, but if you'll share that so that they know where to find you.
Yeah, but you want to go to the About page, school.com. And if you don't know it, it's skool.com/community-growth-academy/about. And you can get the free case study off of there, and you'll see a bunch of videos about the opportunity in paid community, about what we have in the community. You'll see some testimonials, all the things. It's all really on the one page. You can get it there.
Awesome. And it'll be in the show notes for you, of course. And for all of my listeners, if this episode has you realizing that your business feels more like a job than an asset, then it's time for us to look at your numbers and your structure. Book a wealth alignment call with me so that we can look at your income streams, your scalability, and long-term wealth strategy. Okay. And so that you can have a business that supports your life, not you working like it's a job, right? So not the other way around. And again, that link is also going to be in the show notes. And please remember, until next time, confidence and cash are the ultimate power duo. Go check in with your money. And as always, have a fantastic and wealthy day. Until next time.